Genesis. Chapter 36. These are the generations of Esau, that is, Edom. Esau took his wives from the daughters of Canaan, Adah, daughter of Elon the Hittite, and Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, son of Zibeon the Hivite. And Basemath, daughter of Ishmael, sister of Nebaioth. Adah bore Esau Eliphaz, and Basemath bore Ruel. And Oholibamah bore Jush, Jalem, and Korah. These are the sons of Esau, who were born to him in the land of Canaan. And Esau took his wives, and his sons, and his daughters, and all the souls of his household, and his livestock, and all his animals, and all his possessions, which he had acquired in the land of Canaan, and he went to another land, separating himself from Jacob his brother. For their possessions were too great for them to dwell together, and the land of their sojournings could not sustain them because of their livestock. So Esau dwelt in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom. These are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites, in Mount Seir. These are the names of Esau's sons: Eliphaz, the son of Adah, Esau's wife; Ruel, the son of Basemath, Esau's wife. The sons of Eliphaz were Taman, Omar, Zepho, Gatam, and Kenas. Timnah was a concubine of Eliphaz, Esau's son, and she bore Amalek to Eliphaz. These are the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Ruel, Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. These were the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. These were the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife, the daughter of Anah, the daughter of Zibeon. She had by Esau, Jush, Jalem, and Korah. These are the princes of the sons of Esau, the sons of Eliphaz, Esau's firstborn: Prince Taman, Prince Omar, Prince Zepho, Prince Kenas. Prince Korah, Prince Gatam, Prince Amalek. These are the princes of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Adah. And these are the sons of Ruel, sons of Esau: Prince Nahath, Prince Zerah, Prince Shammah, Prince Mizah. These are the princes of Ruel in the land of Edom. These are the sons of Basemath, Esau's wife. And these are the sons of Oholibamah, Esau's wife: Prince Jush, Prince Jalem, Prince Korah. These are the princes of Oholibamah, daughter of Anah, Esau's wife. These are the sons of Esau, and these are their princes. He is Edom. These are the sons of Seir the Horite, inhabitants of that land: Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, and Anah. Dishon, Ezer, and Dishon. These are the princes of the Horites, the sons of Seir, in the land of Edom. And the sons of Lotan were Hori and Homam, and Lotan's sister was Timnah. These are the sons of Shobal: Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onan. And these are the sons of Zibeon: Aiah and Anah. This is the Anah who found the mules in the wilderness, while he was tending the donkeys of Zibeon his father. And these are the sons of Anah: Dishon and Oholibamah, the daughter of Anah. These are the sons of Dishon: Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Cheran. These are the sons of Ezer: Bilhan, Zavan, and Akan. These are the sons of Dishon: Uzi and Aaron. These are the princes of the Horites: Prince Lotan, Prince Shobal, Prince Zibeon, Prince Anah. Prince Dishon, Prince Ezer, Prince Dishon. These are the princes of the Horites according to their principalities in the land of Seir. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the children of Israel. Bela the son of Beer reigned in Edom, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. And Bela died, and Jobab the son of Zerah of Bozrah reigned in his place. And Jobab died, and Husham of the land of the Temanites reigned in his place. And Husham died, and Hadad the son of Bedad, who struck down Midian in the field of Moab, reigned in his place, and the name of his city was Avith. And Hadad died, and Samlah of Masrekah reigned in his place. And Samlah died, and Shaul of Rehoboth by the river reigned in his place. And Shaul died, and Baalhanan the son of Achbor reigned in his place. And Baalhanan the son of Achbor died, and Hadar reigned in his place, and the name of his city was Pau, and the name of his wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. These are the names of the princes of Esau, according to their generations, according to their places, with their names: Prince Timnah, Prince Alva, Prince Jetheth, Prince Oholibamah, Prince Elah, Prince Pinion, Prince Kenas, Prince Taman, Prince Mibzar, Prince Magdiel, Prince Aram. These are the princes of Edom, according to their dwellings, in the land of their possession. This is Esau, the father of Edom. Chapter 37. And Jacob dwelt in the land of his father's sojournings, in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brothers, and he was a lad with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives, and Joseph brought evil reports of them to his father. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him, and could not speak peaceably to him. Joseph had a dream, and he told it to his brothers, and they hated him even more. And he said to them, Listen, please, to this dream that I have dreamed. We were binding sheaves of grain out in the field, and suddenly my sheaf rose up and stood upright, while your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to it. His brothers said to him, Are you really going to reign over us? Are you really going to rule over us? And they hated him even more because of his dreams and his words. Then Joseph had another dream, and he told it to his brothers. Look, he said, I have dreamed another dream, and this time the sun, the moon, and 11 stars were bowing down to me. He told it to his father and brothers, and his father rebuked him and said, What is this dream that you have dreamed? Will I and your mother and your brothers actually come and bow down to the ground before you? His brothers envied him, but his father kept this matter in his heart. And his brothers went to pasture their father's flock near Shechem. Then Israel said to Joseph, Are not your brothers pasturing the flock near Shechem? Come, I will send you to them. And he answered, Here I am. And he said to him, Go now, see how your brothers are doing and how the flock is doing, and bring me word. So he sent him from the valley of Hebron, and he went to Shechem. And a man found him, for behold, he was wandering in the field, and the man asked him, saying, What are you looking for? And he said, I am looking for my brothers, tell me, please, where they are pasturing the flock. And the man said, They have gone from here, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. So Joseph went after his brothers and found them in Dothan. And they saw him from afar, and before he came near to them, they conspired against him to kill him. And they said to one another, Here comes the dreamer. Come now, let us kill him and throw him into one of these pits, and we will say, A wild animal has devoured him. Then we will see what becomes of his dreams. But when Reuben heard of it, he rescued him from their hands and said, Let us not take his life. Reuben also said to them, Shed no blood, throw him into this pit that is in the wilderness, but do not lay a hand on him. He said this to rescue him from their hands and to restore him to his father. And it came to pass, when Joseph came to his brothers, that they stripped Joseph of his tunic, the tunic of many colors that he wore. And they took him and threw him into the pit, but the pit was empty, there was no water in it. Then they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites was coming from Gilead, and their camels were bearing spices, balm, and myrrh, to take them to Egypt. Then Judah said to his brothers, What profit is there if we kill our brother and conceal his blood? Come, let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother, our flesh. And his brothers agreed. So the Midianite merchants passed by, and they drew Joseph up out of the pit and sold him to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and they took Joseph to Egypt. When Reuben returned to the pit, behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he tore his clothes. And he returned to his brothers and said, The boy is not there, and where shall I go? Then they took Joseph's tunic, and killed a young goat, and dipped the tunic in the blood. And they sent the tunic of many colors, and had it taken to their father, and said, We have found this tunic, see now whether it is your son's tunic or not. And he recognized it, and said, It is my son's tunic, a wild animal has devoured him, Joseph has surely been torn to pieces. Then Jacob tore his clothes, put sackcloth on his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and all his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted, and said, For I shall go down to my son in mourning to the grave. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him in Egypt to Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard. Chapter 38. And it came to pass at the same time that Judah went down from among his brethren, and entered into the house of a certain man of Adullam, whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there the daughter of a Canaanite man, whose name was Shua, and he took her to wife, and went in unto her. And she conceived, and bare a son, and called his name Er. And she conceived again, and bare a son, and called his name Onan. And she again bare a son, and called his name Shelah, and Judah was in Chezib when she bare him. So Judah took a wife for Er his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, therefore the Lord slew him. Then Judah said to Onan, Go into your brother's wife and perform the duty of a brother-in-law to her, and raise up offspring for your brother. But Onan knew that the offspring would not be his, so whenever he went in to his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground, so as not to give offspring to his brother. And what he did was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death also. Then Judah said to Tamar his daughter-in-law, Remain a widow in your father's house until my son Shelah grows up. For he said, Lest he also die like his brothers. So Tamar went and remained in her father's house. After many days, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. And Judah, after he had been comforted, went up to Timnah to his sheep shearers, he and Hira his friend the Adullamite. And Tamar was told, Behold, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep. So she took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself up, and sat down at the entrance of the two springs that are on the road to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she had not been given to him as a wife. And Judah saw her and thought she was a prostitute, because she had covered her face. And he went to her on the road and said, Come, please let me have relations with you. For he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. And she said, What will you give me, that you may have relations with me? And he said, I will send you a young goat from the flock. And she said, Will you give me a pledge until you send it? Then he said, What pledge shall I give you? And she said, Your signet ring, and your cord, and the staff that is in your hand. So he gave them to her, and he went in to her, and she conceived by him. Then she arose and went away, and took off her veil and put on her widow's garments. Judah sent the young goat by his friend the Adullamite to take the pledge from the woman's hand, but he did not find her. He asked the men of that place, Where is the prostitute who was by the roadside at the two springs? They said, There has been no prostitute here. He returned to Judah and said, I did not find her, and the men of that place also said, There has been no prostitute here. Then Judah said, Let her keep the pledge, lest we be put to shame. Behold, I have sent this young goat, but you did not find her. And it came to pass about 3 months later, that Judah was told, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot, and behold, she is pregnant by harlotry. Then Judah said, Bring her out, and let her be burned. And when he had brought her out, she sent word to her father-in-law, saying, By the man to whom these things belong I am pregnant. And she said, Please recognize whose seal, cord, and staff these are. And Judah recognized them and said, She is more righteous than I, because I did not give her to Shelah my son. And he did not have relations with her again. And it came to pass at the time of her delivery that there were twins in her womb. And it happened, as she was giving birth, that one put out his hand, and the midwife took it and tied a scarlet thread on his hand, saying, This one came out first. But it happened that, as he drew back his hand, behold, his brother came out, and she said, Because you have broken through, the breaking is upon you. So they called his name Perez. Afterward his brother came out, who had the scarlet thread on his hand, and they called his name Zerah. Chapter 39. And Joseph was taken to Egypt, and Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had brought him there. And the Lord was with Joseph, and he was a prosperous man, and he was in the house of his Egyptian master. And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all that he did to prosper in his hand. Joseph found favor in his eyes, and served him, and he put him in charge of his house, and he entrusted to his care all that he had. And it came to pass from the time that he put him in charge of his house and of all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was upon all that he had, in the house and in the field. And he left all that he had in Joseph's care, so that he did not concern himself with anything except the bread that he ate. Now Joseph was well built and handsome. And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and said, Lie with me. But he refused, and said to his master's wife, Look, my master does not know what is in the house with me, and he has committed all that he has into my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I, nor has he kept back anything from me except you, because you are his wife. How then could I do this great wickedness and sin against God? And it came to pass, though she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he would not listen to her, to lie with her or to be with her. One day he came into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house were there. And she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. And he left his garment in her hand, and fled and went out. And it came to pass, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand, and had fled out, she called unto the men of her house, and spake unto them, saying, See, my husband hath brought us a Hebrew man to mock us. He came in unto me to lie with me, and I cried with a loud voice. And it came to pass, when he heard that I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled, and went out. And she put his garment by her side, until her lord came to his house. Then she spake unto him according to these words, saying, The Hebrew servant, whom thou hast brought unto us, came in unto me to mock me. And it came to pass, when I lifted up my voice and cried, that he left his garment with me, and fled out. And it came to pass, when her lord heard the words of his wife, which she spake unto him, saying, According to these words thy servant hath done unto me, his anger was kindled. And Joseph's master took him and put him in prison, the place where the king's prisoners were confined, and he was there in the prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him kindness and granted him favor in the eyes of the keeper of the prison. The keeper of the prison put Joseph in charge of all the prisoners who were in the prison, and he was in charge of everything that was done there. The keeper of the prison paid no attention to anything that was in Joseph's care, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. Chapter 40. And it came to pass after these things, that the cupbearer of the king of Egypt and his baker offended their lord the king of Egypt. And Pharaoh was very angry with his two officials, the chief cupbearer and the chief baker. And he delivered them into prison, into the house of the captain of the guard, into the prison, the place where Joseph was imprisoned. And the captain of the guard put them in charge of Joseph, that he should minister to them, and they were in prison many days. And they both had a dream, each his own dream, in the same night, each according to the interpretation of his dream, the cupbearer and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were imprisoned in the prison. And Joseph came to them in the morning, and looked upon them, and saw that they were troubled. Then he asked Pharaoh's officials, who were with him in the prison of his master's house, saying, Why are your faces sad today? And they said to him, We have had a dream, and there is no one to interpret it. And Joseph said to them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell me, please. Then the chief cupbearer told Joseph his dream and said to him, In my dream, there was a vine before me. And on the vine were 3 branches, and as it budded, its blossom came out, and its clusters ripened into grapes. The cup of Pharaoh was in my hand, and I took the grapes and squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup, and gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. Then Joseph said to him, This is its interpretation, the 3 branches are 3 days. Within 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your office, and you will give Pharaoh's cup into his hand, according to the former custom when you were his cupbearer. But remember me when it goes well with you, and I beg you to show me compassion, and mention me to Pharaoh, and get me out of this house. For indeed, I was stolen from the land of the Hebrews, and here I have done nothing that they should put me in this dungeon. Then the chief baker saw that he had interpreted well, and said to Joseph, I also had a dream, and behold, 3 white baskets were on my head. And in the topmost basket were all kinds of Pharaoh's baked goods, the work of a baker, and the birds ate them out of the basket on my head." Then Joseph answered and said, "This is its interpretation, the 3 baskets are 3 days. Within 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and hang you on a pole, and the birds will eat your flesh from you." And it came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief cupbearer and the head of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief cupbearer to his office as cupbearer, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted. The chief cupbearer, however, did not remember Joseph, but forgot him.